Hello everybody, this is Daniel here once again. For today guys, we are going to talk about rigid body and how to implement the collisions with rigid body. And since we already have our player with CharacterBody2d, I'm going to show you guys how to work with both rigid body and character body to be able to collide with each other. By the way, if you didn't saw my previous videos, you have the card there to check them out. You will learn a lot of stuff, and if you have any doubts, don't forget to add a comment and I will comment as fast as possible. So let's go to work and let's add our rigid body and implement everything. So as you can see, I removed our previous enemy. I created a prefab of our previous enemy. So if you want to use it later, I will use it. Everything will be on the description. You have the link for the GitHub page where you will find all the project until now. So no further ado, let's start with our rigid body. So to add our rigid body, it's simple. You just need to double click add child, or as already mentioned, Control A or this plus sign, add child node. We are going to look for rigid body 2D. So rigid body 2D, like character 2D, needs to have a collision. So we need to add our collision shape 2D. And the collision shape of course needs a shape, and it's here on the right side, shape. And I'm going to use capsule shape because our sprite will be similar to our player. So now let's add a sprite. You can add this sprite 3D or just drag the sprite that you want to use it to our screen and then put it inside the rigid body as a child. For the sprite 2D, you just need to drag your character here to the texture on the right side, and as you can see, we have here our enemy. Let me just rename our rigid body to enemy and give a collision shape a little bit more scale. If I'm not wrong, will be 2, and let's reduce the scale of our enemy to 0.5. Let me just put my collision in front of our enemy. Let me just add, I think it will be 3, and now just move it around a little bit, a little bit more like this. And for our rigid body, we already have everything. I will press Ctrl G to group everything. One thing I forgot, because if you see, my enemy is looking to the right and I want him to look to the left. So you have sprite 2D selected. On the right side you go to offset and then flip H, meaning that you're going to flip horizontally. Flip V, it's going to flip vertically, as you can see, horizontally and vertically. Okay, so we have everything that we need. Let me just move our enemy here. Okay, so if we start the game now and try to collide, as you can see, nothing is happening because we need to do some changes. So first thing first, let me just do a quick collision. Let me just adjust the enemy. Okay, it's a little bit more adjustable now, but okay. So to be able to collide with our enemy, we need to do certain things on our rigid body 2D. So let's go to our right side. One of the things is to go here on collision object 2D on our right side, collision, and we are going to add the layer 2 and the masks 2. This will help to check which layers we are using to collide our objects. For example, now I'm going to check our player. Our player it's only on layer 1 and mask 1, and let's try to see if this is working or not. I suppose this is going to work. If not, I will be missing something. Yes, okay, I'm missing something, and this is basically here the contact monitor, because we need to have this enabled to be able to check for contact, and basically the contact monitor will verify if the player touches the enemy. Basically, I know that sounds very weird, but okay. And we need to have a point of contact, and I'm going to put just one. Let's check if it's working or not. Still not working. And let's check here kinematics. I'm always missing something. Okay, not working. Will be layer 2 if I'm not wrong. Yeah, okay. Whoa. Let me just put this again on static and just see, and I will explain you guys what I've done. Yeah. So basically, to work with CharacterBody and RigidBody2d, they must be on different layers. So our player is on layer 1, as you already saw, and I added our enemy on layer 1 and layer 2. However, they must be on different layers to work. That was the solution for the issue I was having here, and I wanted to show you guys how to fix this, because if everything is perfect, we are not going to learn anything. So if you guys are working with this and trying for yourself and have an issue, this is one of the things that you have to look around to see if you have them on the same layer or not, if you are working with CharacterBody2d and EnemyBody2d. So, and as you could see, let me just restart. When the character hits the enemy spins like a Beyblade. So to this not to happen, one thing we need to do is lock rotation. Let's start, and as you can see, the enemy is not rotating anymore. However, if we try to, we have here an issue. Okay, we have here an issue, and we are going to fix that with some coding. So now that we have our enemy being hit, we are going to do a small change on our player, but before that I will add just a enemy script, just to see if the enemy is really being hit or not. You see the enemy moving, but you can create a script for the enemy. I will call it enemy 2 because I already have enemy 1. Correct, not that strange word. So script enemy 2 I'll create, so I don't need nothing of this. One thing is to check whether there's a body entered the collision shape. We need to call a function called onBodyEntered. If you don't want to write that function, you can go to our enemy node signals, whatever, and you have here the body entered 2D. If you press double click, you can select our enemy and click connect, and the function will appear. However, you have to write the code that you want here to see if the enemy is being hit by the player, and for that we are going to use an if condition and use here our body parameter. So if body, no, not body, or what the hell I wrote, body dot, and here we are going to do a validation if it is in group by the and player. Okay, so by the way, if you don't know how to add groups, it will be simple. For example, in our enemy, we are our RigidBody2d selected, and here on nodes on the right side you have signals and groups. You can add here the group where you want your enemy to be, and our enemy will be on the enemy group. Basically that's it. For the player, I already add one group from the previous videos. So basically to add it, imagine the groups more like tags. I know that some people that came from Unity use tags to do stuff. So here instead of tags will be groups. Just that. It's simple to understand. So continuing to our code. So we are doing a verification or a validation if the body that is entering on our collision is grouping or tagging as the tag or group called player. If it's true, we are going to do a print to show on our console if the player has been hit or not. I will just write this player hit and just press start, and when as you can see, when the player hits the enemy, it shows on our console. So as you can see, that's it. It's simple. So just to work around with our problem when we are jumping above the enemy, we have to do another code, and that one will be on our player. So let's go to our player script on our CharacterBody2d. I will create a new function. I will call it here because this code needs to be below the move and slide call. So I will just create handle push function. We don't need to pass nothing, and now I'm going to create that same function, handle push, because we are pushing the enemy. And here what we are going to do is to call a function called get slide collision count. That means that we'll check for the number of collisions that had happened, and for that we need to do a loop. In this case we are going to do a for loop. It will be for I in get slide collision count. By the way, if you don't know these kind of things like loops and whiles and everything else, I recommend you to check basic programming to understand this a little bit better. You can learn a little bit of Python, it's easier, and GDScript is very similar to Python, so it will be helping you to understand a little bit more about programming. If you are familiar with that, forget what I said. So continuing, now we are going to create a variable to call another function. This function calls get slide collision because it's going to call the collision that happened. Imagine this sort of like an array of collisions, and each index of that array has certain data. That's what we are going to get. So I'm going to create var we call it C from collision, it gets slide collision, and here as you can see it's saying that we need to pass the index, in our case will be E, or I will call it ID, it's easier, so it's ID. Now what we need to do, it's another validation to check if the collision that had happened, or the collider, is a rigid body. So for that it will be simple, you just have if c dot, and now here we are going to call another function, get collider, because it's part of what we received from the get slide condition on the index position, and we have all that information. So on the get collider we are going to see if is rigid body, sorry, RigidBody2d. If it's true, we are going to add some forces to our, or some impulse to our enemy. So for that it's c dot get collider, and here we are going to call a function. If it's not showing here, but we are going to call a function called apply central impulse. I think I got this correctly. Yeah, okay. Central impulse, and here what we are going to do is just a little bit of math to push our enemy on the opposite way. So let me just add here c dot get underscore normal, and this will multiply with something. This something will be the push force that we are implementing. So I will just call it push force, and now up there I already created, but up there we are going to have this push force variable. I think I'm full sir. Don't know what the hell is that. Yeah, push force. And basically that's it. Let's try to see if everything is work as expected or not, if we have to make some changes. So let's see. This seems to work. This seems not to be working. Let me just see one thing, if I didn't forgot anything. Okay, this is will be on layer 1 now, just okay, and this is on layer 1. They are on the same layer now, so let's see if it will work or not. Oh, it's working with some, need to have some, let me just check it. So as you can, whoa, it's pushing a lot. I know that the enemy is the devil, but okay. So for this part of the code you need to have both character body and rigid body on the same layer to work, and this fix the issue when we are jumping to our enemy head. And as you can see, we now can be on the enemy head. However, this thing you need to work around with your forces, put it higher, lesser. Now it's up to you what you want to do with this new impulse force. So I think I'm not missing anything. If you have any doubts, please leave a comment, and I will explain or try to answer to you as better and fast as I can. If you like this video, you already know what to do. Just subscribe, hit the like button, whatever. So hit the like button, hit the bell sign to be updated with the new videos that I will implement it, or I will be putting here on YouTube. And that's it, guys. I don't have anything else to share with you today, so hope to see you guys on the next video. So bye bye.